Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing good. Today, we will briefly discuss challenges that are faced by many students when they are developing the literature review, which is in a mini dissertation is referred to as chapter 2. Many students, when they are writing their introduction for chapter 2, tend to define what is literature review, and that will affect your mark allocation. It is important that in your introduction, you provide the reader, together with the examiner, what to expect in the chapter, meaning which is the content of the chapter. What do you do here? You provide the reader, with the content of the chapter. What is the content of the chapter? Those are all the themes and sub-themes that will be discussed in this particular chapter. That is very, very important for you to maximize mark allocation. Secondly, it is very important when you are doing your literature to use what we call the funnel approach. The funnel approach. It is something like a glass, like a wine glass. Why is it important? Because it allows you to bring the views of other scholars from in the international world. You bring it down to your continent. What other scholars and writers are saying about your topic in the continent. You bring it into the South African perspective. What are the scholars within the South African environment saying regarding your topic? Then follow other themes relevant to your study. For you to do this successfully, not to find yourself wandering around, it is to go back to chapter 1, to the objectives and the research questions. Those should guide you when you are doing or using this funnel approach, so that all the info that you are collecting should be able to give answers to your research questions. The other thing that many students tend to forget is that whatever you are bringing here on this chapter, it must give answers to your research question. Why is that important? Because this is the second chapter of the study. But the same information on this chapter will be used, for example, if you are doing a qualitative study, will be used to confirm your findings on chapter 4. And remember, when you are writing your final chapter, which is in this case, will be chapter 5, you will still have two types of findings: your primary data findings and your secondary data findings, which is your literature review findings. So it is important that whatever you bring here, give answers to your research question. The other mistake that we tend to make when we are developing our literature review, it is our in-text referencing. Many students, they like this thing of saying, according to so and so in the literature review. In the literature review, you are supposed to elaborate more on the given views of other scholars and paraphrase the content into your own words. Eliminate and minimize the use of according to, meaning which the direct quotes on literature review. There in the literature review, you are bringing different arguments from different scholars. The other one, mistake that we mostly make when we are working on this chapter, it is not introducing sections. What do I mean about that? I'm going to give you an example. For example, we go to the theoretical framework, which is our 2.2. Theoretical framework. Here, what you're doing, you're discussing all the theories and models underpinning your study. But you will find that many writers, they say 2.2, for example, theoretical framework. Then they quickly jump to the theory underpinning their study or model, without having provided an introduction or a statement informing the examiner or the reader, what does this section entail. It is important that in between the themes, there is an introductory statement. There is a statement informing the reader, informing the reader or the examiner. It is one of the most common mistakes. It is prohibited in research to have themes and sub-themes following one another without an introductory statement in between. Let me not confuse you. Let's carry on our next section, discussing in detail the in-text referencing, more especially the Harvard style referencing. Thank you very much.